I was having a quiet dinner with an elegant woman when my wife stormed into the restaurant, furious. Who is she? How could you? I smiled calmly. I'd like you to meet your lover's wife. We're in the middle of finalizing our divorce. The night my world fell apart started like any other Tuesday. I was fixing the porch light in front of our modest two-story house in Oakwood, Ohio. When my phone vibrated in my back pocket, the caller ID showed Lisa, my wife of 18 years. I almost did not answer, thinking she was calling to remind me of some household chore I had forgotten. Hello, honey, I said, balancing the screwdriver between my teeth while holding up the light fixture. Silence. Then I heard something that made my blood run cold. It was Lisa's laugh, but not the one I knew from our morning coffees or family dinners. This one was different, full of affection and closeness. The kind of laugh you share with someone you feel very connected to, not your spouse. Oh my God, Brandon, you're incredible. I heard her say into the phone. I can't believe we have 3 whole days together. My hands started shaking. The screwdriver clattered onto the porch floor. Lisa, I whispered, but she could not hear me. It was a pocket dial, the kind that reveals everything you are not supposed to know. Tell me again how much more exciting you are than boring old Matt, she continued, and my heart stopped cold. Matt, that was me. She was talking about me. A man's voice replied, deep and confident. Babe, your husband would not know how to bring real connection into a relationship if his life depended on it. You told me yourself. The same routine every time. No spark, no excitement. What a bore. They both laughed, and the sound felt like broken glass in my chest. My name is Matt Thompson, by the way. I am 47 years old, owner of Thompson Home Repair Services. The guy who fixes your leaky faucets and builds your garden decks. It is not glamorous, but it is honest work that pays the bills and puts food on the table. At least, I thought it did. Apparently, I was wrong. This hotel is perfect, Lisa went on. Room 237 at the Riverfront Lodge. No one from Oakwood ever comes here. The Riverfront Lodge. I knew it. A nice place about 2 hours north where Lisa claimed to be for a 3-day marketing conference for her job at Summit Marketing Group. Except now I knew the only thing she was marketing was herself to another man. The line went dead. I stood there on my own porch, surrounded by the tools of my trade, feeling like the biggest fool in Ohio. 18 years of marriage, 2 kids, Logan, 21, away at college, and Emma, 19, working in Columbus. A mortgage we had paid down together, dreams we had shared, a life I thought we had built in partnership. It was all a lie. But here's the thing about being a handyman. You learn how to fix broken things. And my marriage was not just broken, it was demolished. It was time to clear the rubble and build something new. I picked up the screwdriver and finished fixing the porch light. Then I went inside, opened a beer, and started to plan. The next morning, I did something I had never done in 18 years of marriage. I went through Lisa's things. Her laptop was password protected, but she had always been predictable. Her password was Emma 2004, our daughter's name and birth year. What I found made the phone call look tame by comparison. There were text messages going back 6 months, photos I will not describe but will never forget, and hotel receipts disguised as business expenses. A whole secret life laid bare in digital black and white. The man was Brandon Hayes, owner of Hayes Elite Autos downtown. I knew him. We had met at several community events, barbecues. We had even shared a beer at Hank's Tavern a few times. He was everything I was not, flashy, suave, driving a different luxury car from his own lot every month. The kind of guy who wears $1,000 suits and talks about his investment portfolio at neighborhood parties. The kind of guy my wife apparently preferred. But Brandon had something I bet he valued more than my wife's attention. His reputation and his marriage to Nicole Hayes, daughter of the wealthiest family in 3 counties. I took screenshots of everything, saved them to a flash drive, and headed to Hank's Tavern. Hank Riley had owned the tavern for 23 years, ever since he got out of the Army. He was the kind of bartender who remembered your drink and your problems, dispensing advice like prescriptions and knowing everyone's business before they did. If I was going to face this situation, I needed intelligence. Hank was the unofficial source of information in Oakwood. Matt, he grunted when I walked in at 11 in the morning. A little early, even for you. What is eating you? I sat at my usual stool at the bar and ordered a whiskey. Hank raised an eyebrow but poured it without comment. Hank, I said, What do you know about Brandon Hayes? Hank's expression changed. He glanced around the empty bar, then leaned closer. Why? Because he is involved in an inappropriate relationship with my wife. Hank whistled softly. Wow, Matt. You sure? I pulled out my phone and played him a recording I had made of the pocket dial. Hank's face darkened as he listened. That guy, he muttered. And Lisa. Matt, I am sorry. Do not be sorry. Help me. Hank refilled my glass without me asking. What do you need? Everything you know about Brandon. His business, his marriage, his weaknesses. I want to address this where it matters most. Matt, you sure about this? Actions like this have a way of. I looked him straight in the eye. They laughed at me, called me boring, said I could not bring any real connection, made fun of our routine life together. They planned on continuing this indefinitely while I played the clueless husband at home. So yeah, I am sure. Hank nodded slowly. All right, here is what I know. For the next hour, Hank gave me a clear picture of the life of Brandon Hayes. The car dealership was struggling. Too much overhead, too many expensive toys, not enough actual sales. Brandon had a gambling problem, liked to bet big on college football, and usually lost. His marriage to Nicole was more of a business arrangement than a love story. Her family's money kept his lifestyle afloat. But here is the thing, Hank said. Nicole is no fool. She has a business degree from a top school, runs the books for 3 of her family's companies. If she wanted to change things financially, she could do it in a week. You think she knows about the situation? Situations, plural. Check this out. I showed Hank some of the text messages I had found. Lisa was not Brandon's first inappropriate relationship, just the most recent. Hank shook his head. Nicole has got to know something. A woman that smart married to a man that reckless? She knows. Then maybe it is time someone told her exactly what she is dealing with. Matt, be careful. Nicole Hayes is no innocent party here. Her family did not get where they are by being passive. You sure you want to get involved? I downed my whiskey and stood up. Hank, 3 days ago, I thought I had a solid marriage. Today, I know my wife sees me as someone who brings nothing exciting to the table. The situation has already gone too far. That afternoon, I drove my pickup truck to Hayes Elite Autos. The showroom was all glass and chrome, filled with cars that cost more than most people's houses. Brandon was in his office, visible through the glass walls, talking on the phone and gesturing wildly. I did not go in. Instead, I waited in my truck across the street until closing time. At 6:15 in the evening, a silver Mercedes pulled up to the employee entrance. The woman who got out was striking, tall, elegant, with the kind of confidence that comes from never having to worry about money. Nicole Hayes. She walked into the dealership like she owned it, which technically, she probably did. 25 minutes later, she came out alone. I followed her Mercedes to a chic coffee shop called the Roasted Bean. I parked and went inside. She was sitting at a corner table, reading something on her tablet, looking every bit the accomplished businesswoman. Mrs. Hayes. She looked up, and I was struck by her gaze. It was intelligent, calculating, and completely unfazed by a stranger approaching her table. Yes. My name is Matt Thompson. I think we need to talk about your husband. She indicated the empty chair across from her. Sit down. No surprise, no denial. No, what about my husband? Just an invitation to sit. Hank was right. She knew. Your husband is involved in an inappropriate relationship with my wife, I said, without preamble. I know. Her voice was calm, matter of fact. Lisa Thompson, marketing executive at Summit Marketing Group. 5'6", brown hair, drives a blue Honda Civic, lives on Maple Street with her handyman husband and 2 adult children. I stared at her. You know where I live? Mr. Thompson, my husband has been involved in situations like this for 7 years. I hired private investigators to document every hotel stay, every lie. I know about Lisa, about the 3 women before her, and about the gambling debts he thinks I do not know about. Then why? Why do you not file for divorce? She smiled, but it was not a pleasant smile. Because divorce would be too simple, too clean. Brandon thinks he is clever, thinks he is getting away with it. He has no idea that every move he makes, every dollar he spends, every lie he tells is being recorded and documented. She leaned forward. The question is, Mr. Thompson, what are you going to do about your wife? I pulled out my phone and showed her some of the text messages. Her expression did not change as she read, but I saw her jaw tighten slightly. They are at the Riverfront Lodge right now, I said. Room 237, having a fine time laughing about what disappointments we are. Nicole was silent for a long moment. Then she said, Mr. Thompson, how would you feel about evening the score? What exactly are you suggesting? I asked, though I was pretty sure I knew. Nicole's smile was as sharp as a razor blade. I am suggesting that if they want to play these games, we should play too. But we play to win. She pulled out her own phone and showed me a picture. Brandon and Lisa entering the Riverfront Lodge, his hand on her back, both of them laughing. Taken 2 hours ago, she said. I have a private investigator documenting everything. Photos, videos, receipts, all of it. You are planning something. Mr. Thompson, I have been planning something for 7 years. The only question was timing. Your wife just became the final piece I needed. I studied her face. Nicole Hayes was beautiful, but there was something determined in her eyes, something that suggested crossing her would be a very bad idea. What is the plan? First, we need to understand what we are really dealing with. She pulled out a tablet and opened a file labeled Brandon Evidence. Your wife is not Brandon's first situation, and she will not be his last. He has a pattern. She showed me a timeline stretching back 7 years. Photos of Brandon with different women, hotel receipts, credit card statements, even recorded phone calls. He targets married women, Nicole continued. Usually ones who feel neglected or unappreciated. He overwhelms them with attention, makes them feel special, convinces them their husbands do not understand them. Classic pattern. And you just let this happen? I documented it happening. There is a difference. Her voice was ice cold. I needed enough evidence to address this completely when the time came. But I also needed something else. Plausible deniability for what I was going to do to protect myself. She opened another file on the tablet. This one was labeled Financial Review, Brandon Debts. Your husband is in debt to some very unpleasant people, she said. Gambling debts, mostly. About $200,000 to a bookie in Chicago who does not take kindly to late payments. I whistled. $200,000? Brandon thinks I do not know. He has been slowly taking money from our joint accounts, selling cars from the lot, and pocketing the cash. Even forged my signature on some documents. All of which I have documented. So you could have him face legal trouble for fraud. I could, but that would be too straightforward. She sat back in her chair. Mr. Thompson, what would hurt your wife more than anything? I thought about it. Public embarrassment. Lisa cares more about her reputation than anything else. She is always worried about what people think, what they say about her. Exactly. And what would hurt Brandon the most? Losing his money, his status, his image as a successful car dealer. Exactly. Again. Nicole closed the tablet. So here is what we are going to do. We are going to give them exactly what they want. Each other. And then we are going to make sure everyone in Oakwood knows exactly what kind of people they really are. How? Leave that to me. But I need something from you first. What? I need you to even the score with me. The words hung in the air between us. I stared at her, trying to process what she had just said. I am sorry. You heard me. Her voice was perfectly calm. Your wife is in a hotel room right now with my husband. An eye for an eye, Mr. Thompson. Call me Nicole. And before you say no, really think about it. She leaned forward again. Your wife has been lying to you for 6 months. She makes fun of you, laughs about your routine life together, plans on continuing this situation indefinitely. She thinks you are someone who brings no excitement. Every word landed like a physical blow because I knew it was true. Meanwhile, Nicole continued, you have been faithful, honest, working hard to provide for your family. You have been the steady partner while she has been the one who crossed the line. Do you not think you deserve something for yourself? This is not about what I deserve. It is about addressing the betrayal. Yes, it is. And addressing it is best done with clear eyes. She stood up. I am staying at the Courtyard Suites tonight, room 314. Think about it. She started to leave, then turned back. Oh, and Mr. Thompson? Your wife and Brandon are planning to extend their little getaway until Friday. Apparently. Lisa told her boss she is coming down with the flu and needs to work from home for the rest of the week. Brandon told his employees he is visiting suppliers in Detroit. How do I know all this, Mr. Thompson? The question is, what are you going to do about it? She left, leaving me sitting alone with a cold coffee and a decision that would change everything. I did not go to the Courtyard Suites that night. Instead, I went home, sat in my empty house, and stared at the walls Lisa and I had painted together 3 years ago. I looked at our wedding photos, our family pictures, the life we had built together. Then I looked at the screenshots of those text messages. Work, TV, bed, same routine every night. No real connection, no excitement. With you, I feel alive again. I know, babe. Your husband sounds like a real bore. Good thing you have me to show you what you are missing. Sometimes I wonder what my life would be like if I had never married him. Do not worry about that, bore. Just focus on us. I read them over and over until the words burned themselves into my brain. Then I drove to the Courtyard Suites. Nicole answered the door in a silk robe, a glass of wine in her hand. She looked at me for a long moment, then stepped aside to let me in. I was not sure you would come. Neither was I. Her room was a suite, elegant and expensive. She had ordered room service, cheese, crackers, a bottle of wine that probably cost more than I made in a week. Drink, she asked. I nodded. She poured me a glass of wine, and we sat at opposite ends of the couch, not talking, just drinking and thinking about what we were about to do. Second thoughts? She finally asked. Third and fourth thoughts. But you are still here. Yes. Why? I thought about how to answer that. Because I am tired of being the steady guy who gets walked all over. Because my wife thinks I am someone who brings no spark. Because 18 years of marriage apparently means nothing to her. And because you are right. An eye for an eye. Nicole set down her wine glass and moved closer to me on the couch. Matt, can I ask you something personal? Go ahead. When was the last time your wife made you feel truly wanted? Not just tolerated. I thought about it and realized I could not remember. It has been a long time. When was the last time she initiated any real closeness? I do not know. Months, maybe longer. When was the last time she told you that you were handsome or that she was lucky to have you? The answer was never, but I could not bring myself to say it out loud. Nicole reached out and touched my face. You are a good man, Matt Thompson. You deserve better than what she has been giving you. What happened next was a moment of intense connection. We spent the night together, and for the first time in years, I felt desired. Not tolerated, not put up with, but actually wanted. It was everything my marriage had not been for years. Passionate, intense, connected. Nicole was attentive and responsive in ways that made me realize just how absent that had been in my relationship with Lisa. Afterward, we lay in bed, talking about our marriages, our disappointments, our plans for addressing the situation. Tomorrow, Nicole said, we start phase 2, which is making sure everyone in Oakwood knows exactly what kind of people our spouses really are. How? She smiled that determined smile again. Leave that to me. But first, we need more evidence. I want pictures of them together, somewhere public where people will recognize them. They are supposed to be back on Friday. They are, but they are also planning a little outing tomorrow night. Dinner at the Garden House, that upscale restaurant downtown. Brandon made the reservation under a fake name, but my investigator is tracking his credit cards. That is pretty bold, going somewhere local. Brandon is getting reckless. He thinks he is untouchable. Nicole turned to me. We will be there too. Different table, but close enough to get pictures. And then we spring our trap. The next evening, I put on my best suit, the one I had worn to my daughter's high school graduation, and met Nicole at the Garden House. She looked stunning in a black dress that probably cost more than my pickup truck, and I felt a flash of pride walking in with her. We were seated at a table with a perfect view of the restaurant. 25 minutes later, Brandon and Lisa walked in. Seeing them together in person was like a punch to the gut. Lisa was wearing a dress I had never seen, something red and expensive. She was laughing at something Brandon said, touching his arm, looking at him the way she used to look at me 20 years ago. Brandon was in his element, expensive suit, gold watch, playing the part of the successful businessman to the hilt. He ordered wine without looking at the prices, made a show of tasting it for the server, and generally acted like the big shot he thought he was. Nicole took pictures with a camera that had a lens longer than my forearm, professional-grade equipment that captured every moment, every touch, every intimate look between them. Got them, she whispered. These are perfect. And now we wait for the right moment. That moment came when Brandon excused himself to go to the restroom. Nicole stood up immediately. Where are you going? To introduce myself to your wife. Before I could stop her, Nicole walked over to Lisa's table. I could not hear what she said, but I saw Lisa's face go pale. They spoke for maybe 30 seconds. Then Nicole handed Lisa something, a business card perhaps, and walked back to our table. What did you say to her? I told her that her husband knows exactly where she is and who she is with. I told her that if she wants to avoid a very public scene, she should check her phone in exactly 5 minutes. Nicole, what did you do? I sent her the pictures. All of them. Tonight, the last 6 months, everything. My phone vibrated. A text from Lisa. Matt, we need to talk. Now. She is texting me. Perfect. Text her back. Tell her you will talk when she gets home. Tell her you have some things to show her, too. I did as Nicole suggested. Lisa's reply was immediate. Matt, please. It is not what it looks like. I showed it to Nicole. Oh, it is exactly what it looks like. Text her back. It looks like you are having dinner with Brandon Hayes while you are supposed to be at a marketing conference. It looks like you have been lying to me for 6 months. We will talk when you get home. I sent the text. Across the restaurant, I watched Lisa read it, her face getting paler by the second. Brandon returned from the restroom, and she immediately started talking to him urgently. He looked around the restaurant, spotted us, and his face went through several interesting shades of color. I think they are about to leave, I said. Good. Let them go. The real show starts tomorrow. What happens tomorrow? Nicole's smile was absolutely determined. Tomorrow, we make sure everyone in Oakwood knows exactly what Brandon and Lisa have been up to, and then we give them a choice. Face the consequences of their actions, or face something much, much worse. Lisa got home at 11:30 that night. I was waiting in the living room with a beer and a manila folder full of printed out screenshots, hotel receipts, and credit card statements. She walked in, trying to look defiant, but I could see the fear in her eyes. Matt, we need to talk. Yes, we do. Sit down. She perched on the edge of the couch, as far away from me as she could get. I can explain. Explain what? Explain how you have been involved in this situation with Brandon Hayes for 6 months? Explain how you have been lying about business trips? Explain how you laugh about our routine life together with your partner in this. Her face crumpled. You heard that. I heard everything, Lisa. The pocket dial Tuesday night. Room 237 at the Riverfront Lodge. How boring I am. How I bring no excitement. All of it. Matt, please. I am not finished. I opened the folder and started spreading pictures out on the coffee table. 6 months of evidence. Hotels, restaurants, text messages, photos. You want to explain this? Lisa looked at the pictures and started to cry. Not the pretty kind of crying you see in movies, but desperate sobs. I never meant for this to happen, she said between sobs. But it did happen. For 6 months. It happened while I was working 60-hour weeks to pay for this house, your truck, the kids' college. You were involved with Brandon Hayes. You do not understand. Then make me understand. Make me understand how 18 years of marriage means so little to you that you could throw it all away for some flashy car dealer with a gambling problem. That got her attention. Gambling problem? Oh, you did not know? Brandon owes $200,000 to a bookie in Chicago. He has been stealing from his own dealership to pay for it. But I guess he did not mention that in between sessions of making fun of your steady husband. Lisa wiped her eyes. Matt, I know you are hurt. Hurt? I stood up. Lisa, hurt is when you forget our anniversary. Hurt is when you are too tired for closeness. This is betrayal. This is 18 years of my life wasted on someone who thinks I am a disappointment. I never said. You said exactly that. I have recordings, Lisa. I have everything. She was silent for a long time. Then she said, What do you want? I want a divorce. Matt, please. We can fix this. We can go to counseling. Counseling. I laughed, but the sound was bitter to my own ears. Lisa, you planned on continuing this situation indefinitely. You told Brandon that sometimes you wonder what your life would be like if you had never married me. What exactly would we talk about in counseling? I was confused. I made a mistake. 6 months is not a mistake. 6 months is a choice. A choice you made every single day. Lisa stood up and tried to move toward me, but I backed away. Do not. Matt, I am just trying to. Do not. Just do not. Matt, I love you. No, you do not. You love the security I provide. You love having someone to pay the bills while you create a different life with your partner. But you do not love me. My phone vibrated. A text from Nicole. Phase 2 starts tomorrow. Are you ready? Who is that? Lisa asked. Nicole Hayes, Brandon's wife. We have been comparing notes. Lisa's face went white again. What does that mean? It means she knows everything, too. It means your little secret is not so secret anymore. Matt, what are you planning? I looked at my wife, my soon-to-be ex-wife, and felt nothing but contempt. I am planning on making sure everyone in Oakwood knows exactly what kind of person you really are. You cannot. I can and I will. Unless you want to make this easy and sign the divorce papers. I am not signing anything. Then you will face the consequences. Lisa tried a different approach. Matt, think about the kids. Think about Logan and Emma. Do you really want them to know about this? The kids? You mean the kids you were perfectly willing to lie to for 6 months? The kids whose college fund you helped drain with your hotel receipts and expensive dinners. That is not fair. Fair. I walked over to the window. You know what is not fair, Lisa? Working your tail off for 18 years to build a life with someone only to find out they think you are a disappointment. You know what is not fair? Being faithful and honest while your spouse laughs about you with their partner. I turned back to face her. You want to talk about fair? Tomorrow, everyone in Oakwood is going to know what you and Brandon have been up to. Your boss, your coworkers, your friends, everyone. And then we will see how fair you think life is. Matt, please. Go to bed, Lisa. Sleep in the guest room. And tomorrow, you can decide whether you want to sign these divorce papers or face the alternative. She started to say something else, but I held up a hand. We are done talking. Get out of my sight. She left, and I sat back down with my beer and my folder full of evidence. Tomorrow, Nicole and I would execute phase 2 of our plan. Tomorrow, Brandon and Lisa would learn that actions have consequences. Tomorrow, I would stop being the steady guy who gets walked all over and start being the one who addresses the situation. I finished my beer and went to bed, sleeping better than I had in months. The next morning, Lisa tried one last time to talk me out of what she thought I was planning. She made my favorite breakfast, pancakes and bacon, and sat across from me at the kitchen table like we were a normal married couple. Matt, she said, I know you are angry, and you have every right to be. But please, think about what you are doing. I am thinking, very clearly. If you expose this, it will hurt everyone. Me, you, the kids, even Brandon's family. You should have thought of that 6 months ago. I will sign the divorce papers. We can do this quietly. Split everything 50-50. Tell the kids we just grew apart. I looked at her across the table, this woman I had loved for 20 years, and felt nothing at all. Too late for that, Lisa. You had 6 months to confess, 6 months to end the situation, 6 months to try and save our marriage. Instead, you chose to keep lying, keep crossing the line, keep making fun of me behind my back. You made your choice. Now live with it. My phone rang. It was Nicole. It is time, she said. Meet me at the dealership in an hour. I will be there. Lisa was staring at me. What is happening in an hour? Accountability. I left her sitting at the kitchen table and drove to Hayes Elite Autos. Nicole was waiting in the parking lot with a man I did not recognize, tall, professional-looking, carrying a briefcase. Matt, this is Michael Torres, my attorney. He is here to make sure everything we do today is completely legal. Torres shook my hand. Mr. Thompson, I want to be clear that what we are about to do, while potentially embarrassing for your wife and Mr. Hayes, is entirely within your legal rights. What exactly are we doing? Nicole smiled. We are making a business proposition. We walked into the dealership together. Brandon was in his office, and his face went through several interesting expressions when he saw us approach. Brandon, Nicole said, walking into his office without knocking. I would like you to meet Matt Thompson. I believe you know his wife. Brandon stood up, trying to look confident, but failing miserably. Nicole, what is this all about? It is about choices, Brandon. Specifically, the choices you have made for the last 6 months. Torres opened his briefcase and took out a thick folder. Mr. Hayes, my client has instructed me to present you with some options regarding your extramarital activities. I do not know what you are talking about. Nicole laughed. Brandon, please. We have photos, videos, hotel receipts, credit card statements, recorded phone conversations, and the testimony of a private investigator. We know about Lisa, we know about the other women, and we know about the money you have been taking from the dealership accounts. Brandon's face went pale. Taking? I have not taken anything. Torres produced a financial statement. Mr. Hayes, according to these documents, You have taken approximately $75,000 from the dealership accounts over the past year to cover personal expenses, including gambling debts and extramarital situations. That is fraud, Torres continued. A felony, punishable by serious time. I watched Brandon process this information, saw the exact moment he realized how serious this was. What do you want? He asked quietly. We want to give you a choice, Nicole said. Option 1. We take all of this evidence to the police, the authorities, and every media outlet in Ohio. Your dealership goes under, you face legal trouble, and everyone in 3 counties knows exactly what kind of man you are. What is option 2? Option 2. You and Lisa make a public statement. Today, in front of everyone. What kind of statement? I spoke for the first time since we had entered the office. The kind where you admit to having this inappropriate relationship with my wife. The kind where you admit to lying to everyone. The kind where you face the consequences of your actions like a man instead of avoiding them. Brandon looked from me to Nicole and back again. And if I make this statement, then we do not pursue charges for the fraud, Torres said. You will still lose your marriage, your reputation, and probably your business, but you will not face prison time. I need to think about this. No, Nicole said. You need to decide now, because in 30 minutes, I am calling the local media, one way or another. Brandon sat down heavily in his chair. What? What should I say? Nicole pulled out a sheet of paper. I have prepared some remarks for you. Nothing false, nothing slanderous. Just the truth about what you have done. Brandon read the paper, and I saw his face crumple. This will ruin me. You ruined yourself, I said. We are just making sure everyone knows about it. 25 minutes later, we were standing in the dealership parking lot. Nicole had called the local news station, the newspaper, and about 50 other people. News travels fast in a town like Oakwood, and a crowd was gathering. Lisa arrived just as the news van pulled up. She looked panicked, desperate. Matt, please, do not do this. You had your chance to do this the easy way. I will sign the divorce papers now. Anything you want. Too late. Brandon walked out of the dealership, looking like he was on his way to his own reckoning. He stood before the crowd, cleared his throat, and began to read from Nicole's prepared statement. My name is Brandon Hayes, and I have something to confess. For the last 6 months, I have been engaged in an inappropriate relationship with Lisa Thompson, wife of Matt Thompson. This situation involved lying to both of our spouses, lying to our families, and lying to this community. The crowd was dead silent. The news cameras were rolling. I have betrayed my wife, Nicole, who has been nothing but loyal and supportive. I have betrayed Matt Thompson, who trusted me as a friend. I have betrayed the values of this community and the trust of everyone who knows me. Lisa was crying again, but I felt no sympathy for her. I take full responsibility for my actions and for the pain I have caused. I will be seeking help for my gambling issue and my apparent inability to honor my commitments. I apologize to everyone I have hurt, especially Matt and Nicole. He finished reading and walked back into the dealership without taking questions. The reporters immediately turned to Lisa, who was frozen in the parking lot. Mrs. Thompson, do you have a comment? Lisa looked at me one last time, then at the cameras, then turned and ran for her car. Mr. Thompson, a reporter called out. How do you feel about your wife's situation? I looked directly into the camera. I feel like accountability has been served. My wife made her choice 6 months ago. Today, she is living with the consequences. The crowd started to disperse, but I stood in the parking lot with Nicole, watching the fallout of our actions. How do you feel? She asked. Empty. Satisfied. Any regrets? I thought about it. No. They made their choices. We just made sure those choices had consequences. 3 days later, I was having dinner with Nicole at Giovanni's, the best Italian restaurant in Oakwood. Not because we were dating. We had both agreed that our night together was about addressing the betrayal, not romance. But because we had become genuine friends through the whole ordeal. The fallout from Brandon's statement had been swift and brutal. The dealership had lost 3 major contracts in 24 hours. Lisa had been suspended from her job pending an investigation into her use of company time and resources for personal matters. They had both become social outcasts overnight. Any word from Lisa? Nicole asked over her chicken parmesan. She is staying with her sister in Columbus. Calls nonstop, wants to work things out. I do not answer. And the divorce? Her lawyer called mine yesterday. She will sign anything I put in front of her as long as I do not pursue any financial claims related to the money she spent on the situation. Generous of her. I just want her gone. Nicole nodded. Brandon moved out yesterday, took what he could carry, and left the rest. His lawyer says he will sign any agreement I propose. What will you do with the dealership? Sell it. Use the money to start something new somewhere else. Oakwood feels tainted now. I understood the feeling. Everything in the town reminded me of my failed marriage, of the fool I had been for 18 years. Matt, Nicole said, can I ask you something personal? Go ahead. Do you think we are bad people for what we did? I considered the question as I finished my lasagna. No, I think we are people who got tired of being taken advantage of. But the public embarrassment, the way we affected their reputations. They affected their own reputations. We just made sure everyone knew about it. Nicole smiled. You are right. They made their choices. Exactly. And choices have. I was cut off by a commotion at the restaurant entrance. Lisa had walked in and was heading straight for our table. She looked terrible. Unwashed hair, wrinkled clothes, the look of someone who had not slept in days. Matt, she said, stopping at our table. We need to talk. No, we do not. Please, just 5 minutes. Lisa, you are making a scene. I do not care. I need you to listen to me. The whole restaurant was watching now. I could see people pulling out their phones, probably to record what was about to happen. Fine. 5 minutes. Lisa pulled an empty chair up to our table, uninvited. Matt, I know I hurt you. I know I made terrible choices. But we can fix this. No, we cannot. We can go to counseling. We can work through this. 18 years of marriage has to count for something. 18 years of marriage did not count for anything when you were involved with Brandon Hayes. Several people at nearby tables turned to stare. Lisa's face flushed. You do not have to be cruel. Cruel? I laughed. Lisa, you spent 6 months laughing at me with your partner. You called me boring, routine. You said I brought no excitement. You lied to me every single day, and I am the one being cruel. I was confused. You were selfish. There is a difference. Nicole had been silent during this exchange, but now she spoke. Mrs. Thompson, perhaps this conversation would be better had in private. Lisa turned on Nicole with pure frustration in her eyes. This is all your fault. You influenced my husband, turned him against me. I did not have to turn him against you. You did that all by yourself. You spent the night with him. You are just as involved as I am. No, Nicole said calmly. I am exactly as involved as you are. The difference is, I am not pretending to be the victim. Lisa stood up abruptly, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. Matt, if you do not come home and fix this, you will regret it. Is that a threat? It is a promise. You think you can embarrass me and just walk away? You think you can affect my life and face no consequences? I stood up, too, and I could feel the anger rising in my chest. Lisa, you affected your own life. I just made sure everyone knew about it. You ruined everything. I ruined everything? My voice was rising, and I did not care. I worked 60-hour weeks to pay for our life. I was faithful for 18 years. I supported your career, your dreams, your goals, and you threw it all away for some flashy car dealer with a gambling problem. You were never there for me emotionally. The heck I was not. I was there every single day for 18 years. You are the one who checked out of our marriage. Do you not get it? You wanted excitement. So you found it with Brandon. Connection? You took it from him. To feel special? He fed you lies that your steady husband was holding you back. Lisa was crying, but I felt nothing. Matt, please. No. You chose Brandon. You chose the lies. You threw away 18 years for 6 months of something that was never real. I slid an envelope across the table. Divorce papers. Sign them. I will not. Then you get nothing. No money. No house. No more secrets I am keeping for you. And everyone will know exactly why this marriage ended. She glanced around the crowded restaurant at the dozens of eyes on us and whispered, "This is not over." "Yes, it is." She stormed out, leaving the papers behind. The room fell silent, then buzzed back to life. Nicole raised an eyebrow. "Dramatic. She will sign," I said. "She cares more about her image than anything. I just affected it in public." 2 days later, the signed papers arrived at my lawyer's office. I got the house, the business, my retirement. Lisa got her car, and what was left of the joint account after her legal fees. Hank refilled my beer at the tavern. Any regrets about addressing the situation? None. They deserve the fallout. Brandon, bankrupt and divorced, sold the dealership to cover his gambling debts and now sells used cars in Omaha. Lisa, staying at her sister's place, jobless, alone. The door opened. A woman in her 40s walked in. Warm eyes, an easy smile. She ordered a glass of wine and sat 2 stools down. New in town. Hank asked. Just moved from Chicago. I start at the bank on Monday. Welcome. I am Hank. This is Matt. She turned. Hi, Matt. I am Emily. We talked for an hour. About her move, small town life, her own divorce years ago. She was bright, funny, honest. She stood to leave. Maybe I will see you around. I would like that. After she left, Hank smiled. New beginning material right there. I am not ready. You are 47, man. Do not let the bitterness win. He was right. The house felt empty, but not lonely. It felt full of possibility. My phone vibrated. Unknown number. Hi, Matt. It is Emily from the bar. Coffee sometime. No pressure. I smiled and texted back. Tomorrow afternoon works. I cannot wait. 3 years later, Emily and I got married in a small ceremony at Hank's Tavern, surrounded by people who genuinely cared. A card arrived from Lisa. No return address, postmarked from Florida. I threw it away without reading it. Some chapters end in pain. Others begin in quiet victory. The best way to address betrayal is not ruin. It is building a life so good that the situation fades into nothing more than a bad memory you rarely think about. I learned that the hard way, but I learned it. Comment. Hey everyone, stories like this always make me reflect on how important self-respect really is in life. I believe we all deserve to be treated with genuine care and honesty in our relationships. When someone crosses a clear boundary, it's okay to stand up for yourself and choose better. Healing starts the moment we stop accepting treatment that hurts our hearts. Taking responsibility for our own peace is one of the strongest things we can do. Sometimes choosing calm over continued pain is the kindest choice we can make for ourselves. Be gentle with yourself while you heal. You truly deserve that. I hope this encourages you to think about the relationships in your own life right now. Building a life filled with respect and real connection is always possible. I'd love to hear what this made you feel or think about. Please share your thoughts below. If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.